Hi everyone, welcome back to Absolutely. Today we're gonna bash the Snyder Bros again. No, I'm joking.
No.
We're not allowed. We're not gonna do it again. We're not. Hassan, you're not allowed to smash on Snyder. I can't say words. You're not allowed to make fun of them again. Okay?
We'll see.
You're not allowed today. You're not allowed. No. We'll see.
I won't make fun of the people.
Today's episode is brought to you by our YouTube memberships. If you want behind the scenes videos, then make sure you go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube memberships. Keep this channel going because we really do appreciate it. And also check out our sponsor, Into the AM. Look at this new design. Look at this one.
Ooh.
I like
Smash
that, the
TV.
retro TV.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool.
I like it too. Yeah. Use the code Absolutely. I believe that's it. And get yourself 10% off of your order. These are probably some of the softest shirts I've just been wearing. Like normally I'm not going to lie, we get sponsor shirts. I wear them for the sponsor and then they get thrown to the back of the closet until I remember I had them. And then I throw them away because they were cardboard. I'm wearing these. These are so soft.
Nice.
Can't wait to get one, Ben.
Yeah,
One day.
same.
You're not,
Yeah,
no, well,
one of these.
Sal's next. Sal's next on the list, so.
Send it to us, and,
And then
he'll
Dan,
appreciate it.
and then Dan, and then I'll give it to Dan, and then I got a couple staff members here for Comic Historian that want some
Of
shirts.
course. Look, I get it.
Uh-huh.
I get it. I get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Snyder Bros.
Yeah.
All right, so we're actually here to talk about Superman's return. There's been a few bit of news that came out. It will lead to the Snyder Bros freaking out about something, but that would be a 2-minute video. So I
Yeah.
want to start with, now that we've officially had, Henry Cavill has reprised his role as Man of Steel in the post-credit scene of Black Adam, there's now interviews and discussions coming out from Henry Cavill about how he's excited to be a part of this. Some key phrases that I want to discuss is that he said, first one is that he's looking forward to the story of an enormously joyful Superman.
Love that.
That's like a direct stab at his Man of Steel,
Yeah.
which I find weird, don't you?
I don't.
No.
It's great.
I don't. They're rightfully aware that the movies they were making were that of
For a certain
our-
audience.
They-
You're not
they were
allowed to
that of
bash
an
today.
Elseworld. It was that of an Elseworld, not the mainline series of books.
This is
Yeah.
going to be a
Now-
challenge for Husset. He's got to think about what he's saying.
I'm sure that Henry Cavill
always
liked
thinking-
playing being a part of the crime syndicate, but now he's in the Justice League.
Yeah.
No, he was Superman before. It's just that he was an unhappy Superman who didn't
Yeah.
like saying his own name or smiling,
Right.
unless he was displaying his power.
But here's the first thing that I'm a little worried about. Apparently, they don't even have a script or anything.
No.
So what does that even mean? We're getting a joyful Superman, but we have nothing more than this one scene in Black Adam.
Oh, I know
means
exactly
the
what that
pitches-
means.
That means the pitch is that's what we're doing, and if we're not doing it right, we're not doing it. Henry
That's
Cavill
right.
is not going to put his name against another, in many opinions, subpar performing as well as subpar. He's not going to put his name behind another bad Superman movie.
I
about
like Man of
darkness and
Steel. Damn it.
Don't.
Yes, it's
But-
cool. Man of Steel is awesome for what it is as a side piece. It is a bad mainline Superman story. It's an awesome.
I mean, I've said that. Yeah.
That's your new 52 Superman, Benny. That's what that is.
That
I've
is exactly
said
what that
that.
is.
That's exactly what it is.
But you know,
Honestly, yeah.
yeah, I'm with you guys on this.
Yeah, I think that was his way of like going. I'm really looking forward to seeing a joyful Superman. He's like looking directly at like James Gunn and everyone who's
Yeah.
working on the movies. Like, that's what I'm here for. Like, you got me back under the pretense of being like, here's what we're going to do with Superman. He's going to be happy. He's going to smile. He's going to be a hero. He's going to be hopeful. Like, that's the plan. And if you deviate from that course, I'm deviating from the role.
Yeah,
Like,
I see. Henry Cavill's in a weird spot, I think, because he doesn't like. He likes being these roles, Witcher and Superman.
yeah.
But he's not going out of his way to try and be in 80 movies a year because he seems very much content with, I've had these roles, I've got a paycheck, I'm doing okay. I don't really want to go crazy on, because I'm building computers, I'm going to the Warhammer place. Like he's just having his fun.
Yeah.
Like if you heard, and I think this is kind of in line with what happened with Witcher. Now this is all hearsay because I just read it through articles and I have not deep dived in it, but from what I heard through the rumor mill, there was talks of whether or not he would come back for season 4, 5, and 6. On top of that, the writers' room in discussions were stating they didn't like the Witcher source material and
Yep.
wanted to rewrite it. And Henry Cavill said, I will only come back if we stay true to the source material. So he's
Yeah.
like strong-arming them to give him what he wants. And I wonder if that's what he's doing at Man of Steel. What if all of the rumors, and I'm starting a new one, all of the rumors in hearsay that they just weren't casting Henry Cavill is that they were, he didn't like any of the scripts.
Yeah.
What if he was like, I don't want dark and gloomy Superman. When you give me the Superman I want, I'll come back. And that's why everything is quiet.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a lot more backdoor WB politics going on, but I could see it. I could see Henry Cavill being strong enough now, and also he's not. You're right. He's not an actor that does 45 movies a year. He's an actor that does what he wants, enjoys the fact that he has a bunch of money because he got paid a pretty hefty check for both Witcher and the original Superman, Justice League, Batman v Superman stuff. So he's got paid quite a bit.
Yeah,
but. He doesn't need more money than that. He talks about it in a lot of interviews. He has a bunch of gaming PCs that he's built, and that's like his favorite thing to do is just play video games and chill out.
I just because we've had the discussions about we've been doing this for 10 years. We've got financial security within our realm, me and Sal, stuff like that. But a lot of people also like to ask me like, well, how are you doing so well? The reason I do so well, guys, is I don't have crazy exorbitant expenses, and I feel like that's where Henry Cavill's at. He's like, I made all this money and my passion is Warhammer, and as someone who knows, Warhammer is an expensive hobby, but once you buy the $1,000 army, you're done, and $1,000 army is probably nothing to what he's banked from those movies. Like I was just doing my budget yesterday and I spent a lot in video games, but it's not a lot if you comparatively, you know what I mean? It's like,
right,
I bought 4 video games this month. Yeah, that's a lot of video games, but it's not going to eat into a budget that much if you've got money. And I think that's where Henry Cavill's at, is what I'm getting at. His hobby is like building a gaming computer. The most you can really get into is like an $8,000 computer. And if you've got Superman money and Witcher money, you're probably like, all right, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've got that kind of money, then literally for like the gaming bubble, you could probably cap out as far as like upgrading a setup. Right, if you're not, we'll even include streaming equipment. You will bottom out at about $40,000. I don't think you could possibly spend more than that. You'd have soundproofing, paneling, the best microphones, the best computer, the best monitors, and I don't think you could spend any more than that, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's $40,000 is not even one 1/100th of some of his checks, because I mean he's doing the Sherlock Holmes series on Netflix. He's doing Enola Holmes with Millie Bobby Brown.
Yep.
Oh,
that's really successful. It's like a children's kind of movie.
But like you don't see him traveling all the time, or like
you don't.
collecting
He's a
bottles
lavishly.
of whiskey, and like
he's not Robert Downey Jr. where it's like every step of the way is exorbitant. But that's RDJ's
RDJ. Have you guys ever noticed that? This is just a sidebar though, because at first I thought he was just kind of a chill guy that wasn't spending a lot of his money, but then I started to realize he does a lot of those home tours. And he owns all the homes. And he's like, when I finally watched one where he's like, yeah, me and the wife, we bought this old windmill and we just kind of renovated the windmill.
I've seen that windmill, and I'm like, yeah, what is up with you living in this like windmill lighthouse thing?
And the thing is, man probably hasn't even dipped into 10% of his money.
Oh,
not even close. Not even close. He got paid over $100 million for Endgame and stuff, right? Like way over that.
Yeah.
And he has back end deals, so he is still to this day probably pulling easily $45 million a year off Marvel residuals.
And that's just it with Henry Cavill. If he's smart about it, he gets a sizable check, buys quite a few properties, or gets involved in something as investment wise, lets it churn him money, and then he doesn't give a shit what he's in. He's like, I'm good because I just like to play Warhammer. And I have every army, and it costs me max $10,000. Like,
I love the idea that he's the one vetoing it, and I hope that now that he's back as Superman, he does stand with it, because I think he is a chill enough, normal person while being this larger than life figure, being ripped, being a Bond villain, whatever he is. Right? He still kind of maintains this normalcy, the sense of like, I'm a normal, average, everyday, not an asshole, super famous, ostentatious guy. So I hope that he stays in touch with the ground floor of the fans, which is that we want a hopeful Superman. Like look at what they're able to do with Superman and Lois with Tyler Hoechlin. They have limited budgets. They're bogged down by the fact that this is still kind of a CW show at times, but they're coming out with this really fun, jovial Superman. One of my favorite things is they do the Action Comics cover in Superman and Lois in the first episode. They do this whole flashback. They give him like a homemade suit with like a black logo in the back and the S, like his mom made him the suit. And he picks up the car, and then someone's like, I like your suit. He goes, thanks. My mom made it. And he's like smiling Superman flying up with his car in his hand. It's so good. And they've been able to, they tapped into what a darker, hopeful Superman looks like when Brandon Routh came back as Superman. Same thing, TV budget. So it's like, now I think we have more recent Supermans, because everyone will be like Richard Donner and Christopher Reeve. Like they'll throw it so far back. And I think those things are fair, right? But that was at a time where superhero movies were done very differently. They were more camp. They weren't as mainstream successful. Those movies were successful, but that's an outlier.
Yeah.
So a lot of people want to have that conversation of how does this possibly work? And I think there's your proof. There's your evidence. Like lean into the levity of it. Doesn't mean they don't get dark situations. That Superman goes through it. Brandon Routh Superman in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, he lost everybody. Joker killed everyone in Metropolis in that continuity, which is crazy that they did that.
Yeah.
He said the reject from Gotham thought it was whatever, and then he came here and he killed everybody. And he was much darker, but he still was like jovial. I don't know. And they tap into it. I think they could do something incredible.
Okay,
Agreed.
so here's the next thing. I'm going to open by asking you a question, Hassan. If we had no schedule moving forward, if this was your last day working with us, okay? By the way, you're fired. No, I'm kidding.
That's coming.
But if this was your last day working with us and I were to turn to you and I said, can't wait to work with you again, what would you assume I'm just referring to?
Oh, yeah. So you're saying that to imply that just like
Have you seen the article? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I saw the video that he said. I saw it.
Okay.
What
so
it
for those,
feels
let me
like-
give everyone else context then. So there's a video in which Snyder was sent a video question from the set of his Netflix movie asking Henry Cavill to reflect his early fighting scenes, and at the end of it, he said, "I can't wait to work with you again." And the Snyder Bros are going insane that this means Zack Snyder is back.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says stuff like that. That way he can like loosely allude to it because Zack buys into his hype the way everybody else does. Zack Snyder thinks he's the greatest director to walk the earth and that his vision is God's vision and whatever. And like he knows that he has fans that also believe this. So he's doing the
I
doing.
honestly don't even think it's that. He may have said it vaguely because he likes to see the hype of everyone getting excited about him, but that's just standard like business jargon. Like, even if I have nothing planned with you right now, Hassan, and I go, can't wait to work with you again, I might reach out to you in 2 years, and that's our working together again. It might be a different movie. It might be a Netflix movie. It
leaves the door open. It's not like, hey, we're never going to... It's like the Russo brothers, right? Will you ever do something with Marvel again? And they're like, we're not saying no. Just not now. We'll do Secret Wars.
I stand by my statement. I really doubt that they're going to bring... I mean, it could still happen, but I really doubt, now that they got James Gunn in charge of the project, there's no way his vision lines up with Zack Snyder's.
No.
So I really doubt
it's because
right now
James
at this
Gunn
point,
has vision. Sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
But I think part of that thing is like right now, like Zack Snyder, like he might come back to a single movie, he might do something else, but we're not getting Snyderverse back. I doubt that because there's no way that would line up with what James Gunn is doing. Like, if James Gunn is the creative director, we're not going dark and gritty. We're going poppy MCU. Like,
I mean, which you just triggered a whole entire nation of people right now.
I felt the people who are gonna like they're like,
I
gotta leave a comment now. But I think the MCU is so good.
oh, hold on. No, I do not. A random commenter that is actually Hassan.
I mean, I'm telling you, the comments, regardless of what you say next, they've
pissed.
already typed, they've already hit enter.
Oh, I know.
They're waiting
I
on
already
the
stopped
next thing.
watching. They're moving on.
I'm the guy that was on the side of I enjoyed the Snyderverse for what it was. I'm that guy, but I don't think we're getting back Zack Snyder. Now, I have been wrong in the past, but I doubt James Gunn's going to be like, this is it. This is my time to make a dark and gritty universe. Ignore what I've done with Guardians of the Galaxy or Super or The Suicide Squad.
Or Peacemaker.
Ignore all of that.
Success.
I'm taking my dark turn. I'm bringing in Zack Snyder, and we are working on his original. I don't see that happening. I don't.
Right.
There's a lot of people in the comments that always say things like, no, guys, the way to do it is to give Zack his 2 ending movies and wrap up his universe. That's how you figure. You appease all of the fans. It's like, you appease all the fans and hemorrhage 5 years and what? $1 billion at least? $500 million each movie? Like
we
a
called
crazy
this
budget?
Years ago, we were talking about how they shouldn't make the Snyder Cut. We were like, it's over. There is no Snyder Cut, moving on. And then we were like, what if they did make the Snyder Cut? I was like, they would never stop. Because you basically prove to them that you can like bully your way into getting what you want. And then and Warner Brothers thought, based on pandemic numbers and their desperate need to have a streaming service, that they were like, this'll work. Snyder Cut, here you go. And sure enough, the day it dropped, Restore the Snyder Cut turned into Restore the Snyderverse.
Yeah. And we said that at the
It's a
beginning, and I was even on board. Like, look, at
concept.
this point, just drop it on HBO Max, call it a day. Look, at this point, just drop it on HBO Max, call it a day, unfinished or whatever.
And I'm like, if you give him a cookie, he's gonna want a glass of milk.
That was not going to be the end. Restore the Snyder Cut. No, Restore the Snyder Cut should have come out like 15 years from now, when there was literally no hope in hell of coming back to, like they did with the Richard Donner thing, where it came out 10 years or 20 years late. Like,
yeah, that Donner cut for Superman 2, I was like, why now? I mean, I'm glad it's here, but like, what? But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that his comments mean anything other than just like being professional. I mean, Snyder knows that he's doing it on purpose. Like he's like, I know Cavill thinks I'm saying, I can't wait to work with you again one day, but I also know that my audience thinks that I'm
Snyder
saying,
Cut. Yeah,
Snyder Cut.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense. It drums up press. It's good for you. It's good to stay in the global zeitgeist.
Yeah.
It's always good to keep your name in the conversation, whether you're actually part of it or not.
Exactly.
I'm going to give one final thought on the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
And there's one thing I don't understand. Everyone's like, restore it. Let him do it. Has anyone ever thought if Zack Snyder actually wants to come back? Because that involved the suicide of his daughter. That involved a company ousting him. That involved a public embarrassment. Like, he got to come back and finalize it. Did they I don't know. It's not like I talked to Zack Snyder. But if I was in Zack Snyder's boat, I wouldn't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
If you came back to me and were like, dude, you know what? We're going to let you make the last 2 movies. I'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
He would love to do it. Are you kidding me?
He would absolutely do it. I see your perspective.
Yeah.
I think for him, everything for him is like a triumphant return.
I can see, maybe. Yeah.
Which Zack Snyder as a person, he seems like an awesome guy. Like I've seen him.
He does, yeah.
He's
There was
super fun to hang
a
out with.
guy
I mean,
who was
this is a guy that took time when the Snyder Cut became an actual movement for suicide awareness. He took time to sit down and chat with all the biggest donators towards that cause.
Yeah.
And literally sat down and just chatted with them. Like, not in a Hollywood studio way, but he was like, hey, thank you. Let's just talk for a minute because I feel you deserve this because you're putting it towards a cause that has my name on it.
Right.
Like, that, Zack Snyder seems like the coolest dude out there. And I would probably be in a very similar boat where I'm just like, I'm going to do what I want to do. Fuck you guys. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there was a guy there's like a pretty popular clip of like a guy doing a comedy show and he's doing crowd work and he goes, hey, what's your name? He goes, Zach. What do you do, Zach? He's like, I'm a director, or I work in Hollywood.
Yeah.
What do you do in Hollywood? I'm a director. Do I know you? He goes, what Zack directors do you know? Snyder? Oh my God, are you Zack Snyder? And then it's like a really fun thing. So yeah, I have. There's no disrespect to him or his legacy, and let's not even downplay how the tragedy that is his story, because it would have. It's like ideally Zack Snyder is the guy, right? He is the guy that makes movies, but he doesn't have the vision for it. He just doesn't have. That's not the kind of stories he likes to tell.
Yeah.
Stories that I think this universe deserve, these characters deserve, especially right now.
We need Justice League Unlimited Justice League. We need hopeful Justice League.
Yeah.
We do. And we live in like a more nihilistic world than we have ever lived in. And while Marvel characters are awesome for what I think they bring as far as the commentary to the world they bring, as well as like their own spin, I think the Justice League for me has always been the heart, the hope. Like not just like the DC universe as a whole.
Yeah.
Like I said, Dick Grayson Nightwing and Wally West friendship is probably one of my favorite things I've ever read in a comic. Those two best friends, or Dick Grayson's relationship with Superman. But we're never gonna see those things because that is a 10 years in story.
Yeah.
That is always going to be. It takes a full decade to get us there. And Zack Snyder's legacy was that of expectation subversion. His Robin, the one Robin he put on screen, he put a suit on screen, and he said it was Dick Grayson.
Right.
He wanted to kill off the heart and soul of the DC universe within his first breath without even knowing. Because in my opinion, I think that Nightwing is a big part of what DC is.
I'm going to wrap this topic because we're going in a totally different direction.
Yeah.
Here. This is actually what I think is going to be one of the strong suits of the DCU with James Gunn at the helm. It's going to be a hopeful universe, and unlike Marvel, and you can yell at me all you want, I love Marvel. DC has a legacy of characters who are known to be sidekicks and moving on, while Marvel is trying to figure that out now.
Yeah.
Part of the reason Phase 4 isn't doing so hot is because we're getting the new generation of superheroes. Well, the new generation of superheroes, most of these characters have been
invented
introduced
like 5 years ago.
Invented 5 years ago. They were invented 5 to 10 years ago in these roles. Even Falcon as Captain America is a new concept.
Yeah.
This isn't something that was in the 60s and 70s, but with DC, we can have Barry Allen and Wally West. And Wally West is from the 90s. Everyone knows him. So if we go Barry Allen for 10 years and then we shift over, it's
Or
not going to...
If Barry Allen is unsustainable and we can't actually use that actor anymore, we could just have
it won't be
Wally.
same thing. We had a whole discussion before this about the 9 Green Lanterns they can pull from. Even Batman can have a period where Batfleck does retire and the mainline DC universe moves on to a Nightwing Batman. Like, these are concepts that have existed in the DC universe that Marvel has never had because they don't want to move past Wolverine, Spider-Man, Captain America, things like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it does. If they can get it right, we can get to a better spot, I think.
I agree.
Because that's where a lot of Marvel's struggling right now. Kamala Khan, she was made in like 2013. They were trying to do Robbie Ray as Ghost Rider. It's like 2014. Falcon as Falcon as Captain America was what, 2015? I want to say. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like these concepts that they're trying to play with right now haven't even existed for 10 years.
Right.
That's part of the where's Iron Man? Oh, we're giving you Ironheart. Ironheart got invented 2 years ago. Like,
right?
Ironheart. Oof, I don't want to talk about that. I think that that's a DC. If DC leans on legacy, I think that it has a chance to be so long-standing and have such continuity going forward in so many different mediums. Like that is a recipe for success. That is something that that means if you spin off to a Wally. Right, and we cast a different Barry because I think Ezra Miller is out.
Yeah,
I don't care about Ezra, but you cast a different Barry. You have Wally. Your Wally's been going for 10 years. You could bring back Barry at that point, right? And how fun and how excited would that be after a decade, right?
Yeah.
And then 20 years from now, which I don't know if we'll still be watching comic book movies in 20 years. Maybe we will, maybe we won't.
I
But
will
20
be.
years from now,
I'm already an old man. I'm just gonna keep watching these.
I'm in. That's it. Yeah.
I'll be Benny's age by the time
What's
rolls
that
around.
running TikTok joke? Superheroes. This is cool. Well, this is my personality for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll still be watching it, but hopefully they'll be just as popular so they get as much money so they still look really good.
Yeah.
But, 20 years after that, we could have Bart take over, but there could just be continuity, could be legacy. Imagine a Bat Family movie, but you don't make it as the first movie you make. You make a Bat Family movie after you've introduced Tim, after Damian, after Cassandra Cain, after Orphan, after Kate Kane. Like, you have all these characters, and then boom. What a legacy that's going to be. You can't Marvel can't tell stories like that because who's the other Spider-Man? Miles Morales. What does he have to do with Peter? Well, in the universe that makes sense, Peter's dead. In the universe current one, he just is there too, and they're both
he just
Spider-Man.
exists.
Yeah.
He just exists.
But I'm going to wrap up with one final thought, and then we're going to wrap this video up because you brought up a good thing, and I've never understood this. The Bat Family has like 30 members, and we only ever get movies about Batman. Think about that for a moment. But characters like Tim and Damian and Nightwing and Azrael and Orphan and Spoiler and Talia al Ghul and all these members that you could do things with. Sony is trying to make an entire universe out of Spider-Man characters that no one knows are a thing. And DC is sitting on 30 Bat Family members that are recognizable.
Yeah.
And some that aren't.
Yeah.
Duke, my boy.
Oh, dude.
Signal!
Signal. I love Signal. I think his suit's cool.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. This turned into a discussion about the future of the DCU, and I'm excited it did because I thought it was a really fun one. Thank you guys for watching Absolutely Marvel and DC. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, join our YouTube memberships to keep us going, or visit our sponsor, Into the AM. And we'll see you guys in the next video right here.